Hey, what's up guys? John here. They're getting ready to crash Bitcoin in an epic fashion. Forbes just put this article out saying, haven't checked in your Bitcoin account in a while, your state could have it liquidated. They're going to begin confiscating people's wallets, calling it unclaimed property. Crypto warning, your crypto cash could be taken by the government in just months under little known rules. Now what they're going to do is they're going to call it unclaimed property and you have about a 2% chance of ever getting it back. Fascinatingly, over the last 18 months, they let this soar, putting out headline after headline about cryptocurrency and Dogecoin, Ethereum, Ether, all of these coins they're talking about. So essentially, people are starting to open their eyes to the idea of buying, selling, and trading with cryptocurrencies. And then interestingly enough, the Fed comes out with a Fed coin that will likely get launched very soon. When this Fed coin comes out, they're going to say we can issue stimulus payments and social payments very quickly, these welfare payments immediately. You don't have to wait for a check or wait for this to hit your bank account. We can transfer it instantaneously. They're then going to be able to track and trace all purchases and oversee our everyday lives through this coin. And I think that this is all part of the plan. I think that this regulation that's going to be coming very soon is going to take the cryptocurrency market and just absolutely break it. You know, once they start seizing wallets from long-term HODLers, we're going to start to see a lot of insecurity hit that market. One of the main benefits of cryptocurrency is the idea of being quiet about it, where you can just take your money and move along with it. You can, top on a flight with $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. You can do whatever you want and be off grid with your money and with your value. But when they start taking over wallets, you're going to start to see a lot of confidence leave the crypto space. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what you can expect. So please smash that like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content and educate more people as to what's really going on. So please hit that like button. Let's begin. If you have old Bitcoin or an old Dogecoin account somewhere but haven't gotten around to digging up your login information, you may have a nasty surprise waiting for you. With the rise of cryptocurrencies, 9 states have now adopted rules that include it as a form of unclaimed property, and several more are requiring or recommending that companies report their unclaimed virtual currency. That means that this fall, when banks and insurers, retailers, and state government agencies are required to annually report and remit any unclaimed funds, your old crypto account could be liquidated and turned into the state's unclaimed property office. There's a lot of concerns about this possibility, not the least of which is the fact that liquidating a cryptocurrency account prevents the owner from realizing any future gains. But there's also a larger economic issue, says Christy Butterbaugh, a solution principal of the tax firm Sovos. Some of our clients don't want to liquidate these accounts because it could have an impact on the market as a whole, she said. We're talking millions of accounts potentially across the country. When muddling things is a lack of clarity on the rules around cryptocurrencies, unclaimed property law is written for traditional property, but now is being enforced for non-traditional property. Here's how unclaimed property law usually works. Every fall, businesses are required to remit any unclaimed property to the state. For accounts and other financial instruments to be considered unclaimed, they have to be dormant for 3 to 5 years depending on the state. That means the account holder hasn't accessed the account or responded to any communications. Once the account is deemed unclaimed, it gets transferred to the state's general fund. That's all well and good when we're talking about a traditional bank account that is sitting around earning minimal, if any, interest, but states aren't equipped to hold cryptocurrencies. They're telling firms to turn these accounts into cash before handing them over. Now let's say you've watched the meteoric rise of Dogecoin this past spring and decided to go hunting in those coins you invested in on a whim a few years ago. And when you track down them, you discovered your account was liquidated back in November, robbing you of thousands of dollars of potential earnings. You'd probably be pretty angry. Companies are really uncomfortable positioned because they're unsure whether or not they should be liquidating for fear of owner retribution down the line, said Butterbaugh. And then you have the state saying you have to, even if it's not explicitly in the statute. States are also motivated to enforce unclaimed property laws because it's a revenue gain for them. Although the state keeps track of the amount due and rightful owner can still eventually claim the money at a time, states in the meantime can use the money for their general operations. This may seem like a gamble, but if only 2% of unclaimed property ever gets returned to the true owner, according to Accounting Today, Delaware has more than 1 million companies, is one of the most aggressive states when it comes to auditing companies on unclaimed property law compliance, and has secured hundreds of millions of dollars over the last decade in unclaimed property and fines. So companies are stuck between not wanting to get dinged for noncompliance and being afraid to liquidate cryptocurrency accounts. They want more clarity on what to do, and Butterbuff says two places, New York and Washington, D.C., are working on a solution. But in the meantime, she advises companies dealing in cryptocurrency to start addressing their dominant or dormant accounts now. 2 days after that aggressive threat towards cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, they said, bye-bye Bitcoin. It's time to ban all cryptocurrencies. I've never quite understood why cryptocurrencies are worth anything. Of course, the untraceable payments are worth a lot to ransomware hackers, cyber criminals, and money launderers. But dollars, euros, yen are backed by nations' respective treasuries. If someone invents a cryptocurrency, any value is based solely on convincing others it has value. But it is usable means of exchange. The international banking officials say cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin are speculative assets, not sustainable, usable money. I guess that's up to the people. Yet the epidemic of hugely disruptive ransomware attacks in recent months on JBS Foods, a major meat processor, and Colonial Pipelines are critical infrastructure, causing gasoline shortages for weeks and thousands of more U.S. businesses on July 4th, highlighting the enormous risk. Moreover, hundreds of small towns, hospitals, school districts, and small businesses have been hit by ransomware epidemics, all enabled by cryptocurrencies. Interestingly enough, when the Colonial Pipeline hack happened, they say, the FBI recovered a huge chunk of the Colonial Pipeline ransom by secretly gaining access to DarkSide's Bitcoin wallet password. Well, how'd they do it? The U.S. tracked the payment to the Bitcoin wallet for which it happened to have the password. They happened to have the password to this wallet. They were able to take their money back. Sounds absolutely ridiculous to me. Meanwhile, how should the government respond? Besieged by cryptocurrencies, the Biden admin has been struggling with this question of cybersecurity with a few clear answers. Cyber offense still seems to beat cyber defense. As the eminent economic analyst Martin Wolf outlined in a recent Financial Times essay, the risk of chaos of a wild world of unstable private money is a libertarian's fantasy. According to a recent Federal Reserve paper, there are already some 8,000 cryptocurrencies. It is the new mom and pop cottage industry. How should governments respond? Wolf argues the central bank, the U.S. Federal Reserve, should create their own digital currencies, the central bank digital currency, CBDC, and make cryptocurrencies illegal. I've been asking the same question. Who needs cryptocurrencies apart from the nasty usage and wild speculative value swings, data mining to produce Bitcoin in a serious environmental hazard using huge amounts of electricity to row and row computers? Governments should guarantee safe, stable, and usable money. Already, according to the Atlantic Council Geoeconomic Center's CBDC tracker, 81 countries representing 90% of world's gross domestic product are at various stages of research and exploring the adoption of digital currencies. The largest central banks, the European Central Bank, the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, the U.S. Federal Reserve, are all exploring CBDC through the U.S. lags behind. Though the U.S. lags behind. China, already digitizing the economy, the RMB, and allowing foreign visitors to use it for payments. Though China is still a long way from having an international reserve currency to rival the dollar, the digitized RMB is a step in that direction. Nonetheless, caution is well advised, as there are important, complex issues that must be sorted out before launching the official digital currency. These issues include equity. Should the digital dollar, be available to all or just used for certain business transactions? I would argue must be for all. Should the US CBDC augment cash or totally replace it? And would there be a transition period? Then there is the impact on private banks. Should individuals have bank accounts with the Fed rather than the private banks? What should the relation between private banks and the Fed with this regard to currency? Should businesses have digital wallets, and how international payments work? So they're getting ready. They're getting ready for something really big. And I believe that this is going to completely shake and change crypto as a whole. Think about how much global control governments would have if, in fact, people are only able to buy, sell, and trade in for example, digital dollar, digital yen, digital peso, where they understand how you're spending money, who you are as a person, and what your day-to-day activities are. When you run a red light, they simply just take the money right out of your account. When you break a law, take the money right from your account. When you make a lot of money, they just take the money right from your account. You have to hire an attorney to dispute what was profit and loss. There would be the ultimate situation around control, and that is where I believe the world's likely going to be going, is this digitized world. Now, do you think that we're going to have governments that are going to be okay with being number 2 to Bitcoin or to digital assets? I don't think so. What I think is very likely to happen is they're going to be pursuing Bitcoin and really all cryptocurrencies as a whole as much as possible, really going after them inside of every scope of the imagination. And when they do, and they can break some really big headlines and really crack some vulnerabilities in Bitcoin and crypto, such as seizing large wallets, what we're going to see is we're going to see a lot of people step away from crypto, and then it's going to be the old problem, reaction, solution situation. And as that happens, who comes out as number 1? It's going to be the governments. What do you guys think about everything that's going on around cryptocurrency? Drop your comments below, smash that like button, consider subscribing here, and also consider subscribing to my second channel. I'm going to leave the links pinned down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.